This is hard to believe, but it is factually correct, Matt DeBerry. Kirby Smart has not lost to any active coach in college football in the last 5 seasons.
That's pretty serious. I was
Like
watching
Wiz Khalifa serious.
Wiz Khalifa serious. I don't know that one. I don't know that particular song, Ryan. But Kirby Smart is on top of the college football world, especially when you throw out stats like that.
Yeah.
And again, we talk all the time. They're tough to beat. You have to have a complete team to beat these dogs. And it's tough for new coaches to put together a program and a culture and an environment that's capable of beating this roster that is top to bottom as talented as there is in the country. And when you're talking about an era of college football where it's almost a revolving door of coaches coming in, coming out across the country, you have to be stable at a place at this point because it takes years to get to the point where you can not only compete with Kirby Smart and this Georgia program right now, but to beat them. And Alabama took a step back, Ryan. It is what it is. I think they're going to be a good program and they'll compete, but they're not the same Alabama. Jim Harbaugh's left Michigan. They're going to take a step back. Super pivotal, important year for Ryan Day. But when you talk about the top college football coaches right now, it's Kirby Smart, then everyone else.
Yeah, I think they've only lost to Alabama and Florida since 2020 started. It's been since 2019 that they've lost to another coach or program, and that was LSU, and that was Ed Orgeron with Joe Burrow and all of them. That's how long it's been since they lost to someone since Auburn or since Alabama or Florida. So that right there kind of shows you all the dominance you need to know. I mean, they've beaten everybody else. It's been 4 or 5 years. I don't even think that Alabama was quite that dominant in the early 2010s.
They had some close games.
It is close.
I think that's. Yeah. Go ahead, Ryan.
That's a fair point.
No, it's close. They went back to back, but then they had that year they dipped. This past year that Georgia dipped in 2023 was just losing a 3-point game to Alabama in the SEC championship.
Yeah, if you want to call it a criticism, Bama won it as an undefeated team in 2009, Matt, and then they did dip. They went 10-3. They lost to Auburn. I don't remember who else they lost to, but they had no chance to win the SEC championship going in the Iron Bowl when the comeback happened. And then they won 2 back-to-backs, which I think was their most dominant time, I would say, for Alabama. Was that back-to-back time. It's the other thing to add to this, y'all, is that not only has he not lost to anybody in that stretch that's still in college coaching, they've also defeated all of these programs: LSU, Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, everybody who has played for or won a national championship lately. I guess in the college football era, that program has been defeated by Kirby Smart's Georgia, Matt. Those two things combined, it's nuts.
Yeah, and they're not losing to bad teams. We saw Mark Richt teams lose to bad teams. If you're an average to an above average team, you're losing to Georgia by 20-plus points. If you're really good, you can hang with Georgia. I thought Missouri was a really good team last year. They lost by 9. Georgia Tech gave everything they had. I think they lost by 9. That was a cute little, fight they put up. But at the end of the day, we talked about it before. You have to have an elite quarterback, but then Jalen Milroe beat him, and he's not an elite quarterback. So that stuff happens. But, what year did Alabama lose to South Carolina? That South Carolina team that beat
10.
Alabama.
That was 10.
Yeah.
And they beat about 14.
That was a much better team than the 2019 Carolina team that beat Georgia. That was the last bad team to beat the Dogs. And the way they're recruiting, Ryan, the way they're putting together this roster year after year, I don't see them losing to an above average to a below average team like anytime soon. There'd be no excuse for that.
Yeah, you're also going to see really good coaches kind of bow out of the sport. And I think that's happening a little bit more in basketball maybe when you look at the last couple of years of coaches leaving. But, with Saban retiring and with kind of just over time, we have less patience for getting things done right. Coaches have a little bit shorter of leashes than they do. It's harder to accomplish this, and Kirby now, especially with Saban being out of the picture, just has a huge head start legacy-wise on any other active coach in college football. Outside of Dabo, right? If he picks things back up, he could build on that. It just doesn't look like they're close to doing that right now.
Were
But
y'all? Hey,
I
did
mean,
y'all watch? We didn't get a chance to talk about this. Y'all were with me the whole time during the Clemson spring game that we watched it, or
we
just
watched a good bit of it.
yeah? Comments.
Sammy Brown.
Close
Sammy
game
Brown
on
looked
August
good.
31st. It's not going to be a close game.
Yeah. Hey man, I certainly could be incorrect about my prognostication about Sammy Brown, or it could be that for me it can't be both. He should not be shining like that at a spring game. Go ahead.
Well, I'll say this: it was like the first play, and they
Yeah.
decide to like have
The
a
first two
rollout,
plays.
and no one block him, and so they kind of set up for him. Oh, boom! First play of the scrimmage, Sammy Brown making a play. No one even touched him. All right, and they just allowed it to happen.
Little scripted media play at the beginning.
A little scripted Dabo play, I think. But
yeah, I just want to reiterate what
Go ahead.
Ryan said. I mean, I do think things are going to have to get a lot better for Dabo and them to challenge this Georgia team, and in a couple of months. And back to you, Matt. This is it's hard. So we've had 4 years in this decade so far. 2020, 21, 22, and 23. Georgia won half the national championships at that time. They certainly could have won one more. I don't think they could have won all four. But when you look at coming into 24 and beyond, who is the direct challenge to Georgia? Who is the hurdle that they have to get through as time moves on here?
I don't know if it's a hurdle because I think everyone else has to jump the Georgia hurdle.
Legitimate foe?
It could be Texas. Honestly, I like what Missouri's doing.
What about Florida State? I mean, everybody wants to make fun of. I see. Look, both of y'all made a look, but go ahead, y'all.
You gotta build the culture better in the environment. You can't have half the guys bailing because they got their feelings hurt that they're left out of the playoff. I just think there's a lot of culture work and environment, stuff that needs to happen. They're going to bring in talent. There's no doubt about it. But if Mike Norvell, who I think is a good coach, and he's doing better than what I thought, if he can get a culture of winning in there and of program stability and connection like Kirby has, that's when you can talk about a program that can get and compete for championships, Ryan, year after year after year. I don't think they're a program like that right now.
If you're talking about within the conference, I think if Sark and Texas keep building upon what they've been doing the last couple of years, I think that can become a juggernaut in itself, and that maybe there is where the biggest challenge lies. I just feel like it's a wait and see with Alabama if it's still going to be what it is. We just don't know, and we don't know what Kalen DeBoer is there yet. I don't think they're going to be bad. I think they're still probably going to be one of the best few teams in the SEC, but there's just a big separator. You think about who's doing the best right now. It's Georgia, Ohio State. I don't really think about Florida State in that conversation. I just don't view the ACC in that light with these other conferences.
I'm surprised no one said LSU, but I was really kind of shocked no one said South Carolina, to be honest.
No. A little too much. I like the stray shot though. I respect it.
I think it has been an amazing run, Ryan, and I think that who is the biggest challenge on this 24? I mean, is the trip to Texas the toughest?
Yeah, it's something that they're not used to. I think mentally the Alabama trip could be tough in a way, but I think the trip to Texas there'll be a lot going on. There's gonna be a lot of attention, big hype game that they just haven't really been a part of, and because of how good Texas is and how good we think they're going to be this season, I think that's the added challenge. It's probably the best team on Georgia's schedule, and having to go over there during all this, that's definitely, in my opinion, the biggest challenge.
Hey, you're the only one on the screen, Ryan. Show us that shirt real quick. I want to see that.
Oh, this is a Red Zone shirt.
Yeah, I was gonna say, put it all the way up. Yeah, that's
in my hand.
You can grab this at Red Zone. Just a basic tee. Yeah, I like it. Matt's going with the Sugar Bowl, which is always, I love, man. That's where we could wind up at that. Go ahead, Ryan, Matt.
This is the Texas game, I believe. I got coffee stains on here. This bad boy's gone through the ringer for 4 or 5 years now.
Lots of workout in that gear too.
I got to cut the grass here in a little bit. I might
Matt.
going on out there.
We work so we hire people to cut the grass. We're not trying to get out there cutting grass. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.